When a woman's ex bails on her 1 week before their wedding, she throws the whole affair and runs away to an exotic island, only to run into the man of her dreams who has been searching for her for years, all because of a broken heart. He is so enamored with her that he proposes to her at the most unexpected time. Will she say yes? This is the story of a woman who was left at the altar and how fate brought her true love back to her, just when she needed him the most. Amelia stared at the white dress in her closet, twisting the satin ribbon around her fingers. The wedding was supposed to be in 1 week, but here she was, returning the dress to the store. She had always dreamed of getting married in a beautiful white dress, but now it felt like a cruel joke. How could this have happened to her? She had planned every detail of the wedding for 2 years, choosing everything personally from the flowers to the food. Her friends and family had given up their time to come to the island to celebrate with her, and now she was returning the dress. As she walked out of the shop, tears streaming down her face, she didn't notice the pair of eyes following her. It was him, the man of her dreams, but she had no idea he was even on the island, or that he had come looking for her. His name was Ethan, and he was a successful architect who had traveled all over the world, designing buildings that won awards. But his greatest accomplishment was also his greatest heartbreak, Amelia. They had met 5 years ago at a friend's party, and they had instantly hit it off. But soon after, Ethan had to leave for another project, and their relationship fizzled out. When he came back, he found out that Amelia had started seeing someone else. Broken-hearted, he left the country again, promising himself that he would never return if she couldn't be with him. And then suddenly, out of the blue, she contacted him. She wanted to get back together. For a moment, Ethan thought he was dreaming. Could it be possible? Finally, his prayers had been answered. But soon enough, she was telling him that she loved someone else, that the other guy proposed and she accepted. All Ethan could do was congratulate her and watch her leave. Now, he stood behind her, watching her walk away, not knowing that she had just returned a wedding dress. He wanted to talk to her, to tell her how much he missed her, but he didn't know where to start. Suddenly, she turned around and saw him. Time seemed to stop for a moment. All they could see was each other. The pain of their lost love resurfaced and tears welled up in both their eyes. Ethan and Amelia whispered, surprised and happy to see him. They had kept in touch through letters and emails, but it had been years since they had seen each other. I didn't know you were on the island, she added, wiping away a stray tear. I arrived yesterday. I saw you at the market and I couldn't help but follow you, he confessed, his voice hoarse with emotion. Why are you crying? She hesitated, then finally broke down and told him about her ex. When she finished, Ethan felt a surge of triumph mixed with pity. He knew that the man she was engaged to wasn't good enough for her. He had seen it from the beginning. I'm sorry, Amelia. I really am, he said, reaching out to touch her arm, but she pulled away. It's okay, she lied, forcing a smile. I'm fine. He didn't believe her for a second, but he knew that she needed space. So instead of pushing her, he did something bold. He asked her to go on a date with him, just the two of them. To catch up, she hesitated, torn between her feelings for Ethan and her need to move on from her past. But something in his eyes, the way he looked at her with so much love and concern, made her say yes. They spent the day together, talking and laughing. Ethan was charming and funny, just like she remembered. But she could also sense that he was still in love with her. It made her feel good, but it also made her uncomfortable. She had come to the island to escape her past, not to dredge it up. But as the day wore on, she found herself opening up to Ethan, telling him about her broken engagement and how she felt like a fool for trusting her ex. He listened patiently, offering words of comfort and understanding. And when she finally stopped talking, he did something that surprised her. He hugged her tightly, holding her as if she were the only person in the world. And in that moment, all the pain and heartache of the past week seemed to fade away. When they pulled away, he looked into her eyes and said, "You are too good for that man, Amelia. Don't ever forget that." She thanked him for his kind words and for being such a good friend. Then she changed the subject, trying to lighten the mood. She invited him to stay for dinner, but he declined, saying that he had a meeting with an old friend. As they said their goodbyes, Ethan couldn't help but feel frustrated. He wanted to tell her how much he loved her, but he knew that it wouldn't be the right thing to do. Not now! Not when she was still hurting from her broken engagement. He watched her leave, his heart aching for her. He knew that he had to give her time, but it was hard. He cared about her too much to just stand by and watch her make the same mistakes again. The next morning, Ethan woke up early and went for a run along the beach. It was his favorite way to clear his head and think things through. As he ran, he thought about Amelia. He knew that he couldn't let her slip away again. He had to do something drastic, something to make her see that he was the one for her. But what could he do? As he continued his run, he came across a small cafe and decided to stop for a coffee. It was then that he saw her sitting at one of the tables, sipping a latte. She looked beautiful as always, but there was a sadness in her eyes that tore at his heart. He hesitated, not knowing what to do. Should he approach her? What should he say? Before he could make up his mind, she stood up and walked towards him. "Hi, Dan," she said, a sad smile on her lips. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Me neither," he admitted. "I just came for a coffee." There was a silence between them, a comfortable silence filled with unspoken emotions. Finally, Amelia broke the quiet. "I wanted to thank you for yesterday," she said. "It meant a lot to me to have someone to talk to." "Of course," he replied. "You know, I'm always here for you, Amelia, no matter what." She looked into his eyes and saw the love and concern shining through. In that moment, she realized that she had made a mistake. She shouldn't have let him go all those years ago. Before she could dwell on her mistake any further, Ethan took a deep breath and spoke. "Amelia, I need to tell you something," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "I've loved you for a long time. Ever since we met, you have been the only woman I can think about. And when I heard that you were getting married, it broke my heart." He paused, taking her hand in his. "I'm sorry if this is too forward of me, but I can't bear the thought of losing you again. Will you marry me, Amelia? Will you be my wife?" She stared at him, shocked. She had never expected him to propose. She had thought that he was just a friend, a very attractive friend, but still just a friend. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked into his. All these years, she had carried a torch for him, but when he left, she had convinced herself that he didn't love her. That was why he left, or so she thought. Now, here he was asking her to marry him, and she couldn't help but say yes.